you to go over something, not necessarily out loud, but just go over all the stuff you need to get done this week. And ideally, it shouldn't take more than a minute or so to get everything straight in your head, but one argument I would like to make is what will really help you in the long run is to make a checklist. One reason to make a checklist is the amount of time and energy it'll save you. I'm willing to bet that pretty much everyone in this class used one today so far. If you use note cards, you used a checklist. So think of all the frustration and mental energy you saved yourself having those written cues in your hand to help you. And also think of all the times you've gone home just to remember at the last minute that one thing that you needed to do, but you forgot it. And for example, forgetting to go to the library is one thing. An overdue book is what, 10, 25 cents each? But what if you forgot today was the deadline for FAFSA? That's a little bit more serious, isn't it? The Harvard medical surgeon and professor Atoko Wanti said the following: avoidable failures are common and persistent, not to mention demoralizing and frustrating. The reason is increasingly evident. The volume and complexity of what we know has exceeded our individual ability to follow through. We need a different strategy that makes up for our inedible human adequacies, no matter how ridiculous in its simplicity. And they are simple, because a checklist at its most essential element is a list of steps needed to complete a given task, which would mean a weekly checklist, or a weekly to-do list, recipes, assembly instructions, the steps in the bathroom that tell you how to wash your hands. Those are all checklists. I think the one in the gym tells us use hot water, use soap, and sing happy birthday to yourself while you're washing. Which sounds really dumb, I know that, but it's there for a reason. It's a reminder. Let's see. In last year, the University of Michigan released a study that showed if people are in there by themselves in a bathroom, a little bit less than half will actually wash their hands. 1 in 20 will do it correctly. So think about that next time you're in a hospital or in a restaurant. So once they started putting up these reminders right in front of the sink where people could see them, these numbers doubled, which granted is still kind of gross, but it's a step in the right direction. If something is written down in a visible location, people are statistically more likely to follow through on doing it. And the third reason to use a checklist is because it's a physical record, which is good on a personal level because it tells you all the stuff you've done and all the stuff you need to do. And it's good on a larger scale in terms of group work, your job, or even on a legal scale. In 2001, a Johns Hopkins medical surgeon wrote up a checklist and required that all his nurses in the ICU follow through with it every day. And it listed all the most basic stuff that's so stupid that no one would ever think about it. It was wear a mask, sterilize your equipment before using it, and wash your hands. Not only did in-house infections drop from 11% to 1%, but it also added an extra legal layer of protection for the practitioners against people who wanted to sue them. So that might be a little bit extreme, but think about how much this would help you next time your boss at work gets up on your back about something that they think you didn't do. So that's my argument for using checklists. It saves you time, it saves you energy, and it's a physical reminder to help you and others. So next time you have something you need to do yourselves a favor and write it down.
Over the summer, I was in Michigan. We took this trip, I think I mentioned to you, drove all over the country. And I get the oil change in the car every 3,000 miles, so I had to do it when I was in Michigan. So I went to this place, and it's a drive-through oil, but you don't get out of your car. You sit in the car while they're doing all the work. And the guys are constantly calling out off of the checklist, taking the cap off here, using the tool, putting the tool back, screwing this in, putting in 4 quarts of whatever it is, that kind of thing. And one guy says it, the other guy repeats it, and somebody else is writing it down. And we're sitting there for half an hour while they're doing all these kinds of things, and I just thought, this would be boring after a while. This would really drive me crazy. On the other hand, I'm probably not going to drive out without an oil filter having been put on the car, because somebody will have definitely made sure that they check those things off. All right.